Vancouver Island. Its rainforests and coastlines are home to black bear, cougar, deer, river otters, sea lions, Pacific dolphins, humpback whales, and orcas. But did you also know that it's home to thousands of amazing musicians? In this series, I'll introduce you to a few of them. Hey, I'm John. Welcome to Edgestone Studios. Today in the studio I have with me Torrefy. Welcome, guys.
Hey.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us, dude.
So, you've come in to play some music for us today and be on my channel. What type of music do you guys play?
Black thrash.
Yeah, we say black thrash, but we're pretty eclectic in that regard. But black thrash is the most succinct way of describing it.
And how would you compare black thrash to other forms of thrash, me not being a thrash knowledgeable person?
It has a lot of elements. It's like a hybrid fused with black metal. So black metal itself is sort of like more screaming like John style and sort of blast beats and stuff like that. And so we blend that sort of more serious and like grandiose style of metal with speedy thrash stuff. Right. Whereas a lot of sort of traditional thrash can kind of just come off almost a little bit more like evil punk or something. Like we still like that in our music, but we have been getting closer and closer to the genre of black metal with our
Right. So why don't you introduce the band, starting with yourself, John?
Hey, I'm John Ferguson, and I'm the vocalist.
I am Daniel Lahi, and I play the drums.
I'm Ben Garinger, and I play rhythm guitar.
I'm Adam Henry, and I play lead guitar.
I'm Simon Smith, and I play bass guitar.
How long have you guys been playing together as a five-piece?
As a five-piece, we started... Our first show together was New Year's Day, 2012. So I guess...
12
years.
Coming up on 13 years.
Wow, and same members throughout?
Since
Yeah.
then. I joined after. These guys were an instrumental piece up until that time. And then I joined, and we've been, the same lineup since.
Sweet. How long have each of you, I guess, lived on the island?
I moved here when I was 12. I lived in Fort St. John before that and was born in the Yukon and kind of been between Alberta and BC a bunch. Yeah. Before I moved here and wound up going to the same school as Simon here, who was kind of my connection to the band many years later.
Right. Cool. How about you, Simon?
I've lived here my whole life.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too. Born and raised.
16 years for me.
Also, born and raised. Adam and I went to school and graduated together from the same school these guys went to. Right,
and that would lead to my next question. What part of the island do you live on? Because this is about musicians of the whole island. So.
Yeah, Victoria. We're all from Victoria.
Yeah. And I've brought this up before, but what part of Victoria? Because Victoria, as we know, is like 13 frickin' municipalities all crammed into the size of a normal city.
Well, the address of our jam space is... no.
Saanich.
Saanich, yeah, I'm a Saanich boy.
Yeah. I'm in Gordon Head.
I live in Langford, but we all jam in
Technically
Saanich.
Right, so
Yeah.
Saanich.
True.
Okay, so you're all in Saanich.
Live
That's
Saanich, work downtown Victoria.
Tell me, guys, what song are you going to play first, and what's it about?
We're going to play Corpse Back Rider from our album we just released, Necronoma Songs. Ta-da. Every song on that album is based off of, coming back to me writing a lot of lyrics, every song on that album is based off of a favorite book of mine. This one's actually based off of a graphic novel, which counts as a book.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So it's The Watchman, but within The Watchman, there's a character who's always kind of hanging out at a newsstand reading this comic book, The Black Freighter, and this is about the Black Freighter itself, which is like a metaphor within a book that's a metaphor for real life. And I always liked how they did that, and thought it'd be kind of fun and like meta to be like, oh, this album's about books, but this book's inside of a book. And yeah.
Awesome. Well, let's listen to it. Who would you say are your biggest influences for the music you create?
Off the top of my head, Immortal, Iron Maiden, Gorgoroth, Black Sabbath. I'll stop there.
Okay.
Skip me for now.
Okay.
It's mine's continually changing, but I came up with listening to punk, so my Bad Religion or Propaganda, I would say, were early influences in my style, or even Blake Schwarzenbach from Jawbreaker in terms of guitar playing. But then in metal, it's continually changing. I'm always listening to what's current in metal, and right now it's Spectral Wound and bands like that. So, yeah.
Cool. How about you, Dan?
I'm all over the map with my musical interests. I really, obviously, as you know, I recorded rap with you when
Yeah.
I was way younger and still a teenager, I think. And
You were just a kid.
recorded some, 3 songs or whatever with my cousin and you. And so, I still do that, and definitely came up listening to mostly hip hop. I still mostly listen to hip hop and synthwave and stuff like that. When I listen to metal, I listen to like atmospheric black metal or like really gnarly black metal, kind of like Magua or, I don't know. A lot of things, Valdrin. There's
So
like,
just out of interest, because you're the drummer, when you started into drumming, were you playing heavy drumming music like that, or did you start on sort of more mainstream
we used
rock,
to
or-
just like actually kind of jam. Like we just made it up on the spot for the most part, and I was just sort of like I didn't start drumming until I was 19, and I only was a rapper up until I was 19.
Right.
Didn't have any instruments at all, and then I was like, I think I could probably figure this out because these guys were guitarists and stuff. We had a jam one day, we decided to just do it one day, and that turned into us like getting together pretty often, just Adam and I at the end of a hangout or whatever. We would like go play for 15 minutes and make something up and have fun, and that just turned into every Wednesday. We eventually started having a jam where everybody would come and like play different instruments. Our buddy was always on the keyboard on synth, and like we played really like sort of Pink Floydy, trippy rock and roll stuff, like and just I would just plonk away.
Right.
Trying my best to
you
just keep
taught
a
yourself
beat.
drums.
Yeah, just teaching,
Yep.
just trying to keep a basic beat because I understood how to make beats from watching my cousin make hip hop beats, and I understood how visually it looked on like a step sequencer and all that stuff in FL Studio. So I was like, okay, I think I can figure it out in real life on a drum kit. Started learning that. Even would play. Brad would come over and play the drums too. We used to switch off all the time, and that we would just make stuff up until finally Ben joined us and would jam as well. And Ben is less of a jam artist and more of like a written. He would
learn a
prefer to
song,
write a
you know.
fucking song.
Yep.
Pardon my, I don't know if I can swear, but write a song. You know, he wants to write an actual whole thing. He goes, guys, maybe we try playing it the same way more than once, you know, kind of thing. And we're like, what a concept. How are we going to remember a song? Like, and then we start writing our first couple songs made up out of the jams. We kind of like would repeat a little bit. Like we kind of got closer to songs by jamming the same stuff.
Yeah.
Like, let's do this one. Let's do this one. So yeah, our first album is actually like a bunch of those jams made into songs. And then
turned
we
into an
actually
album.
started writing songs properly.
Wow, that's a more in-depth answer than I was thinking. I thought
Very
you were gonna-
organic
yeah,
start
that's
to a band,
and it's
yeah.
quite a cool start.
Yeah.
Right. So how about you, John? Getting into singing, and your influences.
I mean, I guess I write a lot of the lyrics in the band, and lyrically, I'm kind of inspired by this weird melting pot of the punk bands that I listened to when I was younger, and like the prog bands that I listened to a lot. So like, you know, Rush and Pink Floyd meets NoFX and Bad Religion and Dead Kennedys. So
Cool.
I kind of like the big crazy concepts that like, you know, Camel or King Crimson might bring, but I like saying it in sort of like a little shithead way once in a while, like you'd find with some of the hardcore bands and stuff that I liked. But as far as my vocal style, there's been kind of a shift with me. When I started, I would definitely say bands like Immortal and Skeleton Witch were. And honestly, as much as maybe their music isn't an influence, vocally, Danny Filth from Cradle of Filth has always been a pretty huge influence on me, because I think his vocals are incredible. But nowadays, listening to a lot of the grindcore bands, especially like what Cali Cap did with their last like 3 albums, is just really inspiring me to be like, oh, you can be a bit weirder about this and like switch it up more and like, you know, bring
Cool.
a new dynamic.
Cool. That makes for originality, which I love to see. And one of the reasons I wanted to feature bands from the island was I wanted to feature bands who are original, right? That write their own music and have something to show, and that really just fits with what's going on here. So.
And Anthrax. I always have to say Anthrax. Yeah.
So what song are you going to play for us next?
This will be Automaton Assault Weapon.
And what's it about?
So this one's inspired, hilariously, I guess I just realized we chose these 2 songs. This one's inspired by the sort of hyper-violent 90s comics, like Judge Dredd and Lobo, Spawn, that sort of thing, but with the story kind of being more RoboCop, Terminator, about just a robotic police force that gets wired against the 1% that kind of created them, as sort of used against the elite by the poor.
Right.
Sort of like...
Right, turns on their makers as opposed
Exactly.
to...
Yeah.
They're supposed to,
It was just like violent imagery and that sort of fun stuff.
Okay, and my fun fact I have to say is Judge Dredd started way before the 90s. Like
Yes,
early 80s.
of course.
Okay.
Of course.
Just
You said after the 90s and you mentioned Judge Dredd, and I'm like, that's 80s stuff. That just
Yeah.
continued. But,
90s
but
was-
the movies were going on in the 90s.
And the
stuff
90s
like
are
that.
notorious for the over-the-top
Yeah. Violence.
in comics.
Yeah.
You know, every one of your favorite comic book heroes is either getting
Yeah.
killed or getting covered in pouches and knives,
Yeah.
you know? Like,
Yeah, suddenly that's the in thing as opposed to just being heroic. Yeah, it's funny. So.
Let's
So where can people find you guys in terms of social media, online?
I think anywhere.
Almost anywhere.
Yeah.
We don't have a Trick Trock account, but everything else.
Tring-tron.
I'll bite. What's a trick trock?
I don't know, the kids are doing it.
That's what the clock does. Trick, truck, trick, truck.
We're working on the OnlyFans. There's some paperwork there. On having 5 people on one, but we'll get there.
So far, it's only Dan.
Well, I've got some cameras if you,
Yeah.
if you need
Sound
to
is
get started.
incredible.
We might have to redecorate the
Oh,
studio.
God. It's not the ASMR I want.
I'll put all the links below, so you anybody wants to find Torrefy, you'll have some links to some of their socials there. What's coming up for you in terms of shows or releases?
We're actually going into a bit of a hibernation for a while. Our next show is going to be in Vancouver on February 15th.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Glacial mutilation.
The pre-party for the Glacial Mutilation Fest. And then we're booked for a pretty saucy festival in Seattle, Northwest Terror Festival in May.
Nice.
We're extremely excited to be
We're
playing
honored.
Yeah, festival.
that
good.
insane lineup.
Yeah, we-
Totally insane.
The likes of
Yeah.
Canadian death metal legends, Gorguts, are one of the headliners, as well as
Agalock.
Agalock Black Metal and Panopticon, 2 very
So
high accolade black metal bands.
Awesome.
Spectral Wound.
Such a Wound, Hyrax.
Horrors,
Anyone
Fall
watching
Horrors.
this, if you haven't been sold yet, like just go look up the Northwest Terror Fest lineup.
Stacked as hell.
It's stacked, especially now that we're on it.
Of course. Now it's stacked. Yeah.
Awesome. And from what you said earlier, when off camera, it sounds like you're working on a new album too.
Yeah.
Yeah. We just got a good. We got the drums done for that, and we're still working on the rest of it. There's still a long road ahead, but it's in the works.
It's worth mentioning that Automaton Assault Weapon is on this upcoming
So it's a
fifth
sneak
album.
peek for you.
Yet unnamed album, correct?
Well, we've got a working title.
Okay.
We can't tell you what it is.
Not
Yeah,
just
not
yet, but
It's the name that shall not be named.
Not yet.
Well, I want to thank you guys for coming in, spending the day with me, recording your music, and sharing your story on my channel. Thank you so much.
dude, likewise.
you.
This
Yeah.
place
Likewise,
is beautiful.
thank you.
Your studio is amazing. I'm
Yeah.
super excited to see where you came from because I recorded with you back when you had like basically the whole studio was the size of that room and with a wall dividing the 2 sides so that you could be in one
It's
side and you could be
ridiculous.
in one side. I was like, how in the hell are we going to fit in there? Because that's where I thought that it was going to be. And I was like, I don't know how we're going to fit in here, but we're going to be standing on each other maybe. And then I found out that it was in a different place. So this is like unreal. It's a beautiful studio.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank
man.
you. Well, no, it's been great. So, hope to get you guys back sometime.
Yeah, a lot of fun.
Hell yeah.
We could do that. Yeah.
Awesome.